Hey friends! Let's talk about some drama. And no, listen, I'm not talking about the kind of drama where somebody forgot to credit a certain artist, or when two fursuiters are throwing shade at each other on Twitter. Yeah, listen, I know it's called X now, but like many of you, I'm still calling it Twitter, so just deal with it, okay? Honestly, you could scroll endlessly through furry Twitter and never run out of things to gawk at. Whether it's petty arguments or people who just can't seem to grasp public etiquette. But that's not what today's video is about. Today, we're diving into something a bit heavier. Something that affects us all, whether we realize it or not. The use and placement of realistic prop weapons at conventions. I'm not talking about foam swords or Nerf guns, but those ultra-realistic prop weapons. They're becoming more and more commonplace every day. And by the way, this issue isn't a new one. This has been bubbling underneath the surface for quite a while, but recently, it's come to a head with the whole Bon Voyage situation. You know, the one cosplayer who shows up to conventions with what looks like a real gun and explosive devices for fun. Yeah, fun. No, that's not okay. Here's the thing. Cosplay in general has long included depictions of military, law enforcement, and other uniformed roles. It's not exclusive to the furry fandom, but we've definitely seen our fair share of it. And okay, fine, back in the day, it was seen as something different. You could argue it was just all in good fun. But guess what? Times change. We don't live in that world anymore. And we haven't for quite a while. You know, I still remember when Columbine happened. I was a kid, living close by, and our school went into lockdown. The fear that day was palpable. It wasn't just a story on the news, it was there in our community. And everything changed after that. School shootings became a reality we had to live with. It wasn't a distant, unimaginable tragedy, it was something that could happen at any time to anyone. Fast forward to today, and we're living in a world where mass shootings have become frighteningly routine. We're talking about one nearly every single week in the United States alone. The normalization of these horrific events has had a profound impact on how we engage with the world around us. That's why this conversation about realistic prop weapons is critical. Because in this climate, those props can trigger real, visceral fear in people. And that's not okay. Especially in spaces like furry conventions, which are supposed to be safe havens for marginalized communities. Now, let me be clear, I'm not saying we should ban all forms of cosplay. Fursuiters with Nerf guns? Sure, whatever, it's clearly a toy, okay? But those hyper-realistic firearms or explosives? Not so much. Take a look at this image. Take a close look. At first glance, can you honestly tell me that that's just a prop? I can't. I'd hesitate. And that hesitation could cost someone their peace of mind, or worse, their safety. Think about it. We live in a world where trauma from gun violence is all too real for many of us. For some, just seeing a realistic weapon, even if it's fake, can trigger a panic response. And when the person wielding it is acting aggressively or inappropriately, it's not a leap to see how that can create a hostile environment, one that fosters anxiety instead of fun. The whole point of conventions, especially furry cons, is to provide a space where people can be themselves, free from the stress and fear of the outside world. Introducing these kinds of props into that environment threatens to shatter that safety. Here's where it gets even more insidious. Fear is a powerful tool. It's used to control, to oppress, and to silence people. In this case, it's not just about an individual's cosplay choice. It's about what that choice represents. When someone brings a realistic weapon into a convention, they're toying with the collective anxiety of that community. Whether they mean to or not, they're using fear as a weapon to manipulate the space around them. Some people will laugh it off and say, "Hey Ash, it's just a joke." They'll say, "Lighten up!" But for others, that joke hits too close to home. When we laugh at these things, we're also dismissing the real emotional impact they have on people. And when we dismiss those feelings, we create an environment where trauma is trivialized. Is that really what we want in our community? So what does this mean for the furry fandom as a whole? Well, we've reached a turning point, frankly. Our community has grown large enough to attract all kinds of people, including those with bad intentions. And without putting the proper protocols in place, we're at risk of losing what makes these spaces so special in the first place. The fact that they're welcoming, the fact that they're safe, and inclusive. Listen, this isn't just about banning certain props or cosplays. It's about creating guidelines that protect everyone. Conventions need to take this issue seriously, and they need to start having these conversations now, not after something bad happens. So, what can be done about it? Well, here are some concrete steps conventions should take to address this issue. First, ban realistic prop weapons. Conventions really need to have clear policies that outright ban realistic-looking weapons. This includes firearms, explosives, and other potentially harmful items. There's really no room for ambiguity here. Next, there needs to be strict enforcement. Having rules is one thing, but enforcing them is another. Conventions need to have staff dedicated to checking props and ensuring that no one, and I mean no one, is bringing dangerous or inappropriate items onto the floor. Perhaps you'd like to get involved. You could try volunteering for security. If you're attending a convention and feel passionate about keeping our spaces safe, volunteer for security. You can help enact some of these policies by being a part of the team. You can check the props, watch over the convention space, and ensure that everyone has a fun and safe time. We should all be a part of the solution, and this is one way you can actively contribute. You could educate and spread awareness like I am. It's not just enough to tell people what they can and can't bring. We need to educate attendees on why these rules are in place. Make it clear that it's about protecting the safety and well-being of the entire community, not just about ruining someone's fun. Finally, and most importantly, community input. Conventions should actively be seeking feedback from attendees. What makes them feel safe? What concerns do they have? The more we involve the community in these decisions, the more effective the solutions will be. Look, I know this isn't a lighthearted topic, but it's an important one. Our community has always prided itself on being a safe, welcoming space for everyone. And that's something worth protecting. We've come too far to let bad actors, or even well-meaning but misguided cosplayers, ruin that for us. Though for the record, I don't think that the Bon Voyage guy is well-meaning. So let's be proactive. Let's have these conversations at every level, whether you're an attendee, a convention organizer, or just someone who cares about the safety and inclusivity of our spaces. And if you want to take it a step further, volunteer to help with security at conventions. By working together, we can make sure the conventions remain the safe havens that they've always been, while continuing to grow and evolve with the times. Hey friends, thanks for sticking with it through this video. I know it was a tough one. It's a heavy topic, but it's one that I feel really passionate about. Let's keep the conversation going down in the comments section below. Tell me what you think. Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you aren't already, and if you feel like helping me out a little bit more, please go check out my Patreon. Supporters like you help me keep this channel alive. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.